Thanks to ASICS for sponsoring this weekend show. Shop the ASICS Tokyo collection, experience premium running comfort and performance with their newest models, the Mega Blast and Sonic Blast. Visit asics.com.au or visit your running specialty store today.
Here we are, the finale of the Road to Sydney. Exciting times. We all got together on the weekend, met in person, didn't record anything, but we had some good chats and some catch-ups. We're here with the absolute star of the show in his own mind, Nick Earl.
Far out. No, I'm not the star of the show. Let's just make sure that's clear.
No, you're not at all. The star of the show is here, the star of Australian marathoning. Perhaps the biggest breakthrough in her career so far. How do you feel about that, Leanne, that statement?
Yeah, I agree. I think so far that's probably my best performance. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
We'll obviously get to it, but you were so strong at the end there, and while everyone else was falling apart, you hung tough, and that was fantastic to have a front row seat.
Oh, well, you sort of did until.
Well, we'll get to that.
I mean, you saw the finish,
Yeah.
but
there was
and
no.
also my finish wasn't pretty. There was nearly a big. Could have been some problems over the finish line, but we stayed on our feet.
And it was the best battle of the day, I reckon, between you and Jess, and then it was completely missed by all the cameras, which was
Yes,
it was an odd decision, but anyway.
It's actually interesting that you mentioned like your question from last week, where would you put the cameras? And turns out no one was listening to us anyway. Well, they had totally different opinion.
There was no imagination, was there? Just front man, front woman. That's it. I mean, I haven't actually seen the footage, but that's what everyone's complaining about it. Like, just we completely missed the race, and like they're just filming. Yeah, respect to the guy who won the wheelchairs, but they're just filming one guy for half an hour, and it's like completely missing the dynamics of the race. There's more than one race going on. There's about at least 8 different races going on at the same time. You need to cover them like that. And this day and age, 2025 technology, just someone with their phone would be as good as you'd need. Because like you don't. Anyway, it was.
I appreciate the rant, but let's focus on the positive experiences from the weekend, especially in the first 3 minutes of the show when we've got the richest person in Australia sitting next to us.
If we're talking positive, there were some people that thankfully caught a lot of the action that happened at the finish. So yeah, I'm just going to shout out North South because we were just talking about them, but they did an excellent job.
Oh, that was a beautiful video they got of you sprinting into the finish there. That was great.
Yeah, those guys are runners themselves. I think they're the media company that just know how to capture running in like the essence of running. They know the special moments. They know
all the feels.
Yeah,
all of them.
and I like they had 2 videos up. Well, they had probably a few more, but the 2 videos that I watched yesterday were the ladies finishing, which was fantastic. But then also the finish line videos of the everyday people that were just super emotional on the finish line and just showing what happens to I guess what the marathon does to somebody. And there's a lot of bullshit over the weekend, I think. Like there's a lot of look at me behavior and like brands trying to capitalize on a lot of people in the one spot, and it can leave you a little sick I think, in the stomach, just seeing it all and all the marketing and the money and the promotion. And then you watch a video like that and you go, oh, this is running. Like, this is
And
running.
you cry.
I was close. I didn't do it. I can imagine how, though. I wasn't far off. Now this could Nick. He asked to go first tonight.
Oh, come on!
No, I
Let
thought
me
it's
go
a good idea.
first.
I actually
Joking.
think it's a good idea, Nick, because
I disagree. Because
No.
let's listen to Leanne, and then I can add bits what I saw personally. So I reckon
Yes.
Leanne first.
No, because what'll happen here is if Leanne goes first, everyone will just stop listening after her week, after
Well,
her
why don't
race.
you go first, then, Moose?
Why don't I go first so that we can draw people out a bit longer and keep them waiting for Leanne's take on things?
Exactly.
So how about I go first, and I'm just going to make this as long as possible for me. So
Make it all about you, Moose. Come on.
Let me just go on to my Strava. Why don't we just do go through the week? Because I think that's important to show people like what our weeks were like. I'm just going to show people that I just trained so hard up until the day. That's why it went wrong. On Monday, 25th, 24th. On Monday, I just jogged 8K. I actually felt all right here, but it was very slow. I put up a comment here on my Strava that didn't get the best feedback, actually. So I got a few comments on my Strava, 18. I said, my wife cleans her house before the paid cleaner gets here. And the idea, like, she justifies it saying, so that it's not messy for her to clean. Now, insane behavior on my part. Like, you're literally paying someone to come and do the job that you're doing immediately. But people took that as a bit of like you've got a cleaner, you must be so white collar. But they don't understand, like, the cleaning fee is not that much when you consider that it allows someone to go to work for the day. It's like childcare. It's like someone saying, oh, your kid goes to daycare. You're so wealthy. It's the same with cleaning. Like, Brie, if she wanted to stay home and clean, she could, but we'd have to pay someone to go to work. So Brie goes to work, we might as well pay a cleaner. Not sure if you guys have cleaners. Leanne, I'm guessing given you don't have a consistent mode of income, you probably don't have a cleaner.
I reckon from yesterday, she's now got a cleaner.
She's got a maid.
No.
There's a little servant in the cupboard behind her.
I do have time in the middle of the day to clean.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, when I'm cleaning my house, I'm like, why am I doing this? Because someone will do it for cheap, you know. And then so we're looking to organize a cleaner, and I think it's a great idea. And I'm just looking at the comments, Moose, and Bree's gone, it's so she can actually clean past your clutter and mess.
Yeah.
Just for a bit. That's a good comment.
Yeah, well, that's still, the cleaner normally does that. I've done it a few times where she comes in. Anyway, the next day, jobbed 8K with the jogging crew in Torquay. Early day, early, dark, ran with the crew from the store. Then I did a little workout on the treadmill the next afternoon. So I had an early day that next day. Ran 3 by 6 minute at threshold, 3 by 1 minute harder than threshold, and then 3 by 1 minute at much harder than threshold. And yeah, legs, like, I'm just not fit right now at all. And I know that because I can compare the speeds on the treadmill to my heart rate with no changes, or like no heat, hills, wind, or anything. I'm like, you just know exactly where you're at on that particular day. And I know that where I was. So I sort of told me, hey, you're not that fit. But
was the body feeling good though?
The body was moving fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the body was moving fine.
Your heart and lungs are just out of shape. Yeah.
Yeah, my heart rate just goes up at slower paces. Like, it's a pretty simple, simple setup. Next day, I just got out 25 minutes in the morning. I just did it. Had to take the dog out before we went to Sydney. So let him have a run. And then got up to Sydney, did the Brook Shakeout run. Oh, no, sorry. It's called the Hyperion event. Like they launched a new shoe, 2 new shoes actually. And we ran at, I'm going to say it was like 7 p.m. around Circular Quay, around the Opera House. It was busy. Like it was proper busy down there. I'm not talking like, oh, there's a lot of runners out here. I'm talking like there are just thousands of pedestrians, and some of them are just wanting to go home. Like they've finished their job, they're walking to the train, and others are tourists that are all just wandering around like aimlessly. And it was, it was a tough run, to be honest. Like I think for the first 15 minutes, we averaged like 6:20 per K pace, which is, kind of
How many people
slow.
rocked up?
Or it was a sold out. It was, so they only had limit for like 40 or something. So it was a fairly big running group to go through Circular Quay at that point.
Yep.
Maybe only 20 ran. Maybe then we went on the boat afterwards and we did like a live podcast. It was actually really cool. Kudos to Brooks for coming up for something a bit different like that. Next, we had to stay in Bondi that night because we couldn't get accommodation in the city for less than $1,000 a night. So we went down to Bondi, and I thought, oh, look how nice this place is, like epic location. But the running down there is no good. Like there's nowhere to run, just along the foreshore. And I got up a bit late, so I was out the door at like 9 o'clock, and it was just packed. You just can't run along that foreshore either. So I sort of headed up north, up the hills. Like I listened to this podcast about a lady who was in finance, and she was stealing people's money, and then she committed suicide jumping off Dover Heights. Yeah. And I'm like, I want to go up and see these cliffs because they make a big deal about it on the podcast. Like the cliffs that drop off into the ocean. They call it the walls or something, or do you know what it's called up there? Like a special name for those cliffs?
No, I don't know, but yeah, isn't that a pretty common spot?
I think so, yeah. Like it's a bit morbid, but it's also spectacular up there. Like a spectacular coastline along there. I think
in general, whoever's in charge of Sydney has done a great job retaining as much nature on that coastline as possible, because there's tons of buildings and there's 4.5 million people or whatever, but there's tons of coastlines along those cliffs with like tons of vegetation, and sometimes you can't even see houses on them, and they're like protected and stuff. So I was really impressed actually. I haven't spent much time in Sydney before, and it was very green. I thought this is a well organized city.
Really? You thought it was organized?
Well, Sydney. I mean, I just love the ferry service to Manly because that's where I was staying.
Good. Yeah,
the ferries are incredible. I'm like, this is such low hanging fruit for like Hobart to roll something like this out, and they do a bit, but like this is comprehensive, and obviously it must cost a lot or whatever. But I was impressed with the infrastructure.
Well, the ferry system is rad, and the best thing about Sydney is the water, like the harbour and the beaches, and the worst thing is the traffic. The traffic is horrendous, especially like trying to get from Bondi to the city, back to Bondi, to the airport to Bondi. It's like, I felt like we were stuck in Ubers, just like stuck in traffic for so long.
So there's no ferry from Circular Quay? Because I was impressed with airport Circular Quay ferry. And so you didn't actually have to go on any roads. That was what I found impressive.
Going north is good. Like that's how you get, like you can get across the harbour on a ferry, but you can't go down to Bondi on a ferry. Like it's the open ocean.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Got to go out the heads, which is dangerous stuff. Next day, I jogged from the hotel in the city and I went down to Barangaroo and Pyrmont area. Lot of people out. There was one guy standing on a bollard waving a Lululemon flag. Like he was there when I went past one way, and then he was there like 40 minutes later when I come back, and they've obviously just paid him to stand there, wave a Lululemon flag.
Passionate.
Like it's his country or something. Like,
He's an
yeah.
absolute fanboy. Was it Brady? Trying to get his
Wouldn't that be
contract
funny?
back.
Oh yeah, no, he's not coming back, Brady. He's burnt some bridges, I reckon. There.
I reckon.
Morning of the race, because I wasn't at the race hotel, rode a Lime bike up to the race hotel to jump on the bus because I didn't want to do the public transport stuff. So got up there, jumped on a bus, headed into the elite area after we arrived at the what is it called? It was like a community. It's like a city hall or something where we were.
Yeah.
I actually sat with Aaron, your partner, for a long time, Leanne.
Yeah, because the men and women were separated at the sort of like pre warm up kind of. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, Tommy DeCano and I, we found our way just outside the room to sit on a comfy couch, and Aaron found us out there. So we sat out there, hung out for a bit before we went and warmed up just on this 50 meter one way.
Yeah.
50 meter up, 50 meter back. I ran like 2K. I didn't feel like I needed to, but I needed to get my stomach moving so I could go to the bathroom one more time. That was the only point of that warm up for me.
Lots of coffee.
Yeah. Yep. I did have they had instant coffee at the room, the elite room. And that helped. That worked. The interesting thing watching Sam Clifford run with a football during the warm up.
that's what he does. It's iconic now.
Is that to distract him to try not to get nervous and stuff?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, but he did it before he ran his Australian record, so it works.
He took a footy to
Japan.
Tokyo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
And he had more room than we had on the weekend, so they were kicking it back and forth. Yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah, right. He kicked it to me at one point, or he handballed it to me, and then I'm like, oh, well, I got to kick it back, and then I kick it and shanked it, and it bounced off some African dude, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to kick that anymore. I'm lucky enough to be in here, and I'm going to get booted in a second. So keep your footy to yourself, Sam.
Well, Mo Farah used to do kick-ups with a soccer ball before, like we call football in England. He used to do kick-ups and stuff before races just to get the legs moving. And it's just a bit different from doing drills and stuff. And you kind of are stretching. But if you're very one-footed like me, then my left foot's getting massive workout and my right's doing nothing. So it's probably not ideal.
So then we went out to the start line. I was kind of still undecided what I was going to do at this point. And it's probably a good lesson just to make sure you have a bit of a plan before
Moose,
the jump.
I asked you what your plan was, and you just had a go at me, going like, "Mate, don't let me get in your head." I was like, "Man, I'm just trying to make conversation. What are you doing today? Like, you told me you weren't going to be in the elite zone. Suddenly, you're in the elite zone, like you bloody own the place." Yeah. And I was like, "What are you doing, Moose? What's the plan?" And then you weren't even sure, and that's like 5 minutes before the race.
Well, I did ask Ben to pull me down, but then he said they found a lot more room and there was going to be heaps of space there and it's all good. And I said, oh, okay, well, that's great, because that was really the only avenue for a bib for me at that point. So it was I certainly did not deserve to be in the elite zone based on any results I've had over the past 4 years.
It's not me.
But when you can get the bib, I took it. I'll say that it was quite embarrassing to run around the course with a bib on that said elite on the back when I was in the shape that I was. And I was embarrassed by that. And that's part of the reason why I didn't just want to jog it off the start line, because I felt like a little disrespectful to the bib to a degree. But at the same time, running 2:30, if I had a good day and ran 2:30, that's also not quite doing the bib justice. But that played in my head a bit. So when the gun goes, first K, so downhill. I know Brady said, oh, he ran 3:20 for his first K. I'm like, it's fucking hard not to. 3:20 320 was with the brakes on hugely, and I get swamped by like 500 people, I reckon. So that was certainly not a like a rash decision going out at 320. I don't think, because the next
You
K
could
was
not. Yeah.
You're just
You had to
rolling.
do.
Yeah.
yeah. You're rolling with the. You know what would have been very dangerous at that point is
Going
to
slower. Yeah.
exactly to put the brakes on and just get trampled.
We descended 40 meters in that first K. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge.
So my gap pace on that was 337. Like that's the sort of effort level or the equivalent split, which was right for me at that point. The problem was that I just found myself in this fucking group of people, and all of a sudden, like I instantly just switched to racing mode and going, I'm going to run with these guys. And I'm going to look at my heart rate today. And today it's going to be about heart rate. And I'm going to make sure that if I get to 170, I'm backing off because that's where I've been doing a bit of like threshold stuff at. So if I get to there, down I go. And so I did that. And I did that for quite a while. And I ran with different people and like I was taking splits so off the markers rather than using my own. So like I got to like 10K and I ran a 348 at 10K. Like that's the sort of pace I was going. It was uphill 18 meters, but like I was backing way off there to keep my heart rate under control. And I just like at this point, I didn't really care what the pace was. I just thought, okay, just run this to effort, stay under your heart rate. You'll be fine. You'll finish. You'll get slower, of course, because you go up hills and all that. And when I went up hills, like at one point, like when was the hills? 346 here, going up the hill at the 13th K.
That 10 to 15 was a rough 5K, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I went 340, 338, 338, 346. And then it went downhill for a bit, and then it went uphill again. I ran 339, 336, 340. So like this isn't crazy numbers, right? Like I'm not looking at that going, oh, you made some terrible, like you went out too hard and you started to run well outside your like potential. The trouble then here, my heart rate average was smack on where I wanted it to be. But the problem was that my legs were getting beat, and my legs have no condition because I haven't been running. So at 15K, my calf started to get a bit sore, and that's been a weak point of mine. And I've been trying to do strength work around that just to protect the soleus a little bit since the Gold Coast, where I realized like that was that was the first point of weakness for me. But I felt this at 15K and I thought, oh, fuck, this could be a long day. I got up to 20K. I think I went through in 70-30. And at that point, I did realize that things weren't going to be great. My legs started to get beat. I just thought, okay, well, forget time, forget pace, just run smoothly. And I just got away from the pack I was in, so I wasn't sort of going up and back and getting other people's rhythms. I'm like, just moved across to the side of the road and thought, you just run your own rhythm. And I had a really good stretch from, I think it was 20 to 25.
That was the nicest part of the course. That was like the flat bit going south and then north again, like along, is that Anzac Parade or whatever? I think it's called.
Yes, it is Anzac Parade.
That was where you get in your rhythm there. That's pretty much the only part of the course you can actually get in your rhythm. Yeah,
but it was still like, I found it a lot harder. 20 to 25, I was good. 25 to 30, I was that was getting boring, like out there coming back. I'm not sure if you guys found it, but it was a little bit monotonous, just straight down, straight back. And
so you were totally solo at the time?
No, I was going past people and they were passing me. So like there was people coming from behind and I would jump in with someone for a little bit and have a bit of a run with them. And at this point, like, yeah, someone was either having a good day or a bad day. You kind of found those guys out pretty quick.
Yeah, we were catching a lot of women that had blown up almost, by this point. And I think we didn't really see many of those women that we caught so early even finish. So
they jumped on for a bit. But
I went past them
yeah.
in Centennial. They were all on the side of the road in Centennial.
Okay. Yep.
I was amazed at how many people we were standing there waiting to get picked up. Like
Oh.
probably 6 in Centennial Park, I reckon. Yeah. So they've obviously gone, it's not worth it. Like
Yeah.
I got 12K left. I'm not in the money. Let's save my legs. I can train next week, maybe something like that. I started to really hurt at about 35K, I reckon, when I came out of Centennial Park, and I thought, oh, you can just roll down this hill, which I've done. Which last time when we ran this race, I really enjoyed rolling down the hill, and I just did not enjoy it this time. My legs were cooked.
That's what conditioning does, eh?
Yeah. My quads were banged. My calves were cooked. I got down to the bottom of Mrs.
Macquarie's chair.
Macquarie's chair. Is it Macquarie
Yeah.
or MacArthur? Yeah, Macquarie.
Macquarie. Yeah.
I always get that wrong.
Yeah.
And then turned around, and I just that steep section of hill. Let me look at what I ran here.
Was that the down was the worst one though?
Nah, the up for me. The up was worse.
4:14.
4:14
for 41st
going up this hill.
day.
God, that's rough.
That is so bad. And then like even I thought, at 40, I thought you didn't, like I didn't realize the hill kept going after the 41K marker, but you had to go right around the corner before you started to hit that downhill again.
That went on forever, didn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it did. And then I'm running down the hill, and I look back and go, there's only one person in this race I don't want to beat me right now. Brady. And I look back, and there's a flash of a yellow singlet, and it was the fucking bloke I didn't want to beat me. And at the 40, no, Brady had already passed me. He was gone by now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he passed me just out of Centennial, I reckon.
Oh, he must have had a comment for you.
Yeah, no, he's a prick of a bloke. So he's doing a workout. I thought, oh yeah, he'll run with me for a little bit. It's a workout, right? Doesn't slow down at all. Like literally just turns his head and goes, "You all right?" And then just keeps running. Like doesn't even let me answer.
Didn't even listen.
Yeah. Like, thanks, mate. Real champion bloke. But yeah, no, I turn around. It's my mate from the Surf Coast. He's a big fella too. He's like a 90 keg. He's a big dude. He's run 2:31. He could be like the pound. What do you call it? Pound for pound.
Yeah,
champion.
Pound for pound.
Champ.
Yeah. He's run 2:31 and he's 90 kegs and he's stomping down this hill towards me, and I'm like, I cannot lose to this guy. He'll I'll never live it down. He once beat me at City to Surf in 2011, and he still goes on about that every fucking Sunday. So he was catching me at 42K mark with 200 meters to go. He had like 60 meters to get me, and then on the finish he had 10 meters to get me. So he was coming for me, and then I finished, and I think I ran, so it says I ran 2:35:07 or something like that. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. I'm cooked right now. Like my legs are smashed. I'm going to have to lose another week of training. Like if in retrospect, when you look back, you're probably thinking that wasn't a very good idea to try and run a marathon hard. Well, not hard, but like as fast as you can. We'll say I ran it as fast as I could. That's what I did. When you haven't done the conditioning. And I've always said that you can't fake a marathon.
Oh,
and
100%.
It's also disrespectful to the marathon to like, I think, brag about finishing it without training, and that's definitely not what I'm doing here. But I do feel like once you stand on the start line and you have a bib on, you sort of owe it to the race and the competitors around you to try your hardest.
Like, I fully agree. And I think Benny's stitched you up there by not letting you drop a kind of section. And like, so he's put you in the elite of the elite. and you have to have a crack or don't go. You know, like give up your singlet, but then they wouldn't even give it to someone else, so you might as well experience it.
Yeah,
I don't
that's the
know.
thing, because there were so many people that were in the ballot that didn't get in that probably
Yes.
could have run. But then there were also, I think, you couldn't even switch entries.
Yeah. And look, people are sick, they jog it, it's dangerous for them,
Mm.
that's fine, those sort of things. But I look at someone like Brady and he's jogged a bit of it and then he did a bit of a tempo and he's running around like stirring the crowd up, like pointing. I'm like, that is carry on. Like, I'm not sure I'm
That's
comfortable with doing
influencer
that.
vibes, isn't it? Maybe
Yeah.
he's really trying to get back on Lululemon, I reckon.
Like, it's just maybe it's a bit disrespectful to the people out there having a crack when you have someone roll past you doing a workout.
Especially when he's given comments like "you're right" and they're not listening, and he's just like showing, "Oh, Moose, look how fit I am. I'm not even trying, and you're
Yeah.
fucked." You know,
And
that is pretty rude from Brady. That
if you're in a, let's say if you're in a pack at 35k and a bloke's just doing a workout next to you, talking to the crowd and like having these cheesy one-liners, this kind of thing, that is not a bloke I want in my pack. Like I want to be around people who are hurting. I don't want to be someone who's out there just to like get attention from
because
others.
you've said this before, Moose, and it's a really good point about when you've worked with people through the marathon, you have this bond, and like you've gone through absolute agony together, and you've got out the other side, and there's something really special about that. Someone like Brady just chatting away and just like carrying on, it kind of does ruin that kind of that bond, I reckon. But to be fair to Brady, I mean, he's gone slow and then whistled past a few groups. He must have felt good about himself, and yeah, that was what his coach, because he'll blame his coach now, won't he? He'd be like,
Yeah.
Dan gave me that, so I had to do it.
But that's a fun way to run a marathon.
It is a fun way to
feeling good when you finish.
Yeah, I know. It would be a fun way to do it. But is it running a marathon though?
No, it's a training session.
Not the same,
Yeah. So, yep, that's me done. Hopefully, you know what could fuck me over here is that maybe some races are like 2:35 is there. Like if I'm trying to get into some events in the future, like they might like say, "Oh, 2:35 is our cutoff," and I didn't even get that.
Oh yeah.
I'm
I
in
don't
a
think
different.
many races do that.
Oh,
I mean,
I reckon
based on this one, we're still living off our 2019 PBs, Moose. So you know, long may that continue. Honestly, I had bib number 20. I was like, I do not deserve this bib.
It's a memento. I'm keeping it forever. Show my kids when they're older.
Yeah, true.
Just don't ask me the results. The results disappeared off the internet by
That's irrelevant.
Yeah. All right. That was me. Why don't we go to the Queen next? I reckon because you guys could almost wax and off a little bit. Yeah. Why don't you both do your weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Then Leanne drives the show.
Yep.
And I want to hear a bit from Nick as well.
All right. I'll go through my week real quick, and then we'll go through Leanne's week, and then I'll jump in during the race because we did overlap quite a lot.
And I'll tell you if you're taken over and you need to stop.
Yeah, 100%. So Monday just 10Ks at lunchtime. Tuesday 3Ks real easy, and then taper session. And Pete Legend put on the Earl's fartlek, which is 2 minutes on, 1 off times 7. So that gets you to 21 minutes, and then 1 on, 1 off until you get to 30. So you finish on that on, which is a nice session to do. And it was taper session, so kind of average like 3:27s or whatever around the oval. So that felt pretty good. Just cruisy, not really breathing that hard, which is weird because I always go super hard in sessions, but it's a nice way to do it. And then easy 10 on Wednesday lunchtime. And then Thursday, tested out the new race shoes. So because we were talking about it last week about not wanting to do box fresh. And so I had the Hoka CLO 1s 2.0, whatever they're called. And so these were box fresh. And so I did a few 400s, did 5 400s at kind of 3:20. So it's kind of like just quicker than target race pace, I suppose, but just to make sure the shoes were all good. And they felt great. Knee was iffy. So I was a bit worried about that because when my right knee's dodgy, it's patellofemoral, it's my perennial injury. Then I start favoring my left, so then my left hip gets it. So I was a bit worried about it, but I was like, ice the shit out of it, take a couple of ibuprofens, and that kind of settled it straight down. I don't like taking ibuprofen because it cooks my guts a bit, but race week is kind of all right. You kind of need to. So yeah, then flew to Sydney.
Just on this one, can you go back, Leanne? Are you looking at his Strava?
I was actually trying to quickly get to it, but he hadn't given me kudos in a while. So,
So you deleted him off it. You
no.
Hang
you
on,
unfollowed him.
Surely I gave you
didn't.
kudos
Wait.
for your marathon. My good.
You won
Goodness me.
because
No.
you didn't give.
I can go to it. No, I'm going to his Strava. Here we go.
So the 28th of August, have a look at this bloke's running style down the track.
Oh, I did see this.
That is like race walking. You would make a good race walker, I reckon.
I've been told that in the past, but there's no way in hell I'm doing race walking.
Well, you pretty much are with that running gait.
I just
Is
high
it the
cadence
shoe
mode.
that's doing that as well?
I don't know.
Because it's very like. How do you
I don't think I look
describe
that weird, do I? I don't know. I'm just trying to run conservatively.
I think for someone with knee pain, you probably want to just like increase your cadence a little bit.
I've got like
It's
I do
smooth,
like
though.
200, I do 200 steps a minute. So like,
how do you do that landing
You've
on your
got, like,
heels?
I got
zero
tiny legs.
vertical oscillation.
Yeah.
The real shuffler, aren't I? Yeah. Anyway,
I am.
You
too.
know, you should go see the balanced runner.
I don't think so. I don't think he's even qualified, is he? The balanced runner, isn't he? Just
Well,
pseudoscience. I reckon.
who is qualified as a running coach? Do you know how to do? Do you know how
someone who's coached someone to the Olympics?
he coaches? He's done technique coaching with Galen Rupp.
Okay, fair enough. He's a champ. I take back whatever bad I said about him.
But Galen Rupp only got slower though after he worked with him.
Okay, I think Galen Rupp got slower for other reasons. But hang on, that's slanderous. Sorry, take that back. Anyway, so I flew to Sydney on Friday morning and then went staying in Manly. So I went out and helped out at the expo, and oh my god, I've never seen more people like in a room before. I was like, oh god, I hope I don't get a cold from this because it was so busy in there. But luckily the Epic events had like the worst spot in the whole expo. They were just tucked away in the corner right near the exit, so they were not getting much foot traffic at all. So that was probably a blessing in disguise though, so you didn't have to converse.
How
with
long
too
were you
many
on there
people.
for?
I was only there for like an hour and a quarter or something, but just chat
that's
to a
not
few
bad.
people about the races.
How many entries you sell?
I think there was about 5 when I was there. So yeah, just people asking like what race they should do. But she's really pushing for the Lonnie half marathon, and I love the 10. I'm like, get rid of the half. Let's just do the 10, Lonnie. So I was kind of going against what he wanted me to talk about. But anyway, hopefully people go do the 10 because it's the best race and it's best 10K in Australia, and the half is Gold Coast is a better half in my opinion. So
it's a pretty fast half, Lonnie.
It is fast
down there.
It is fast, but like the 10 is just as good as you can get because it's super flat. Whereas the half, you start getting hills and you sort of have to go through Lonnie, do a few twists and turns and stuff. Whereas the 10 is just out and back. It's rapid. So I think it should be Lonnie 10 still. But fair play to Welshie. Like he's pushing the half and he's got a label and stuff. And that was a great race last June when they had the half. And then the 10K was also superb. But I kind of been trying to persuade him to do 2 separate races. He was like, you got no idea about race organization. I'm like, nah. But anyway, so I got to Manly just after 4:30 and went for a shakeout, and this just felt horrendous. I was like, oh god. I mean, taper week in general, I just feel like absolute shit. And just ran. I was like 5-minute Ks felt fast, and I was like, oh, this is just awful. But I didn't want to then do strides and stuff, so because I was like, I'm just gonna end up like, what's the point at that point? Just do some stretches and real slow jog. So real nice place, some decent running around Manly actually, compared to kind of Bondi to Coogee, which I've done before with all the stairs. There's actually not as bad at Manly, so you can, if you know the place, you'd be able to get a decent run around here, I reckon.
A lot of concrete though, isn't it?
There is a lot of concrete, but there's enough grass so that if you know the best places to go, I reckon you could find pretty grassy trails. Yeah, and then similar thing, just went the other direction on Saturday. Yeah, 4Ks. So I think I was on about 45Ks before the race. So yeah, that, and then morning of, I woke up at 4 because I was staying in Manly. I just got an Uber to the race start line. So I was like, to get my stomach going and to get ready for the race, I got up at 4 and got out, had a bit of brekkie, got out for a jog at 4:30 just for a K, and then that helped so much. I felt ready to go when I was back after that.
So you jogged. Hold on. You jogged at 4:30 before you left to go to the.
Yeah, because the plan was to do a second warm up before the marathon. But what I did was I got an Uber to near the start line. So I was like, all right, I'll just pick a spot like a K away from the start line just before because I was checking Google Maps, and then there was closed roads and everything. And I was like, once I'm on my feet, a K from the start line, I can just jog there. That's fine. But I started north of the ovals, and like I suddenly was like, oh shit, and everything was fenced off. There were thousands of people around. There were portaloos. There was different sections, people queuing up to get into different sections. So I had my elite athlete pass, and all the people at the fences are like, hang on, what's this? What are you, red or orange zone? I was like, no, I'm in the elites. They were like, all right, just go through if you want. So I was just trying to head towards the start line, and it was absolutely hectic. And then Aidan Hobbs goes, Nick, hey, do you know where we go? Because he was in the Oz champs and he didn't know, he was lost as well. So we kind of just found our way together, and eventually managed to, after talking to loads of people, going through VIP, whatever that was, and eventually got to the starting kind of the setup that Benny had sorted out for us, and it was real nice. But I wasn't there until about like half an hour before the race, or even less. So I was like, shit, I don't really have time for a second jog. So I just did a few run throughs and drills and stuff, and then that was a bit stressful, but I don't know. I think I had plenty of time, like, ultimately, so I wasn't worried about missing the start. But it was just a bit hectic. Whereas you guys sitting on a couch, that sounded.
Yeah, I was in this thinking that it could be like how you experienced if I tried the public transport route, and nothing stresses me out more than not knowing where to go. And the majority of the volunteers have not been instructed as to where, like, there's just different volunteer groups out there. And one of them's like, you're allowed in or not. That's the extent of like their job. Because even like after the race, I was trying to get to the elite area, and I was by far the last elite to finish.
Got a shot.
And the
all
volunteers,
the women are finished,
they're like, where are you trying to go? I said, to get my bag. And she's like, you go that way up the hill. I'm like, no, it's in here. It's underneath the opera house. And she's like, no, you don't go that way.
Going, no, that's not for you.
Yeah. And I said, look, I know this is confusing. Most of the crew have already been past here a long time ago, but I have to get in there, please. And then I just said, look, I'm just going to go in there, okay? And she's like, oh, like, it's going to be all right. I'm just.
Oh God! But then there was a hell of a lot of nervous energy in the elite zone, so I was actually kind of glad I missed most of that, because everyone was just stressing out. And what time did you get there?
We were pretty late to leave.
4:50, do you reckon?
Yeah, something like that.
So you're there like an hour and 40 minutes before the race.
Before you warm up, let's think about that, because that's really when we probably hung out for half an hour, 40 minutes before we jogged. It was actually quite relaxing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fair.
I mean, not if you had someone antsy and stressful around you, then it would be a disaster. You gotta be ruthless in those situations and cut off people who are no good for you. Like there's nervous energy people, and I cannot deal with them before an event. Like I've learned not to just tolerate it. I'm just like I'm walking away rather than like cop this energy, because it just it drowns you.
Was there any culprits?
No, because we removed ourselves. Oh yeah, like Steve McKenna, the triathlete, bailed me up 30 seconds to the gun went. Yeah, you were next to me at that point. You see
Oh
that?
yeah. Yeah.
Both of you were next to me.
I was there too. Yeah.
Yeah, he apologized for something that I couldn't even really remember. That we were upset
I think
about.
it was for Brady, because he said he'd go sub 220, and then Brady was like, "Nah, you can't just. This is hard to do or whatever." You chatted about it on the podcast, but then he went sub 220, so there was kind of no issue.
Nah, it was I asked him specifically what he was apologizing for, and he said it was the reel that got made, that where they chopped up the audio from the podcast and made Brady sound out like that he was. They made him sound the reel made it sound like Brady was having a real crack at him when he wasn't.
Yeah, that's no good.
And
Yeah.
so that's what it was, which was good. Fair play.
Fair play for him to apologize for it, though, because I chatted to him after the race. Lovely chap. So, yeah, bloody talented. He's basically just started marathons, and he's run 2:18.
Yeah, no, he's good at running. There is no doubt about that. Absolutely. But yeah, that was probably the only culprit, I'd say.
Yeah, I think I'll just get to then basically we got let out to the start line, and I thought it was great. We had some room to do strides, and there was quite a lot of space they gave for the elites. We were all on the start line, and they started announcing people, and so Leanne had to do a run through in front of everyone and stuff. So
that was cool. I liked that.
Cool. I liked it too.
Did you like it, Leanne?
I did. I missed the start. I missed the call a bit, but yeah, it's fun. They should. Pretty special.
Yeah. It's quite a small start line. So, as in it wasn't very wide. So, compared to London, where you've got multiple roads, like you've got two big roads at the main start line, and then they've got one for another wave that start at the same time around the corner. So, yeah, anyway, so it's quite a small start line. And basically when they called out Lisa, this pissed me off before the race. So Lisa gets called out, does a run through, goes to the start line, and Isaac Haynes there. I really like Isaac. Lovely chap, always smiling. And I was so surprised. Lisa went to shake his hand, and he just went, nah, you're good, and refused to shake her hand right before she's about to do a major marathon. I was like, mate, that's pathetic. I don't care what's gone on. She's about to do a marathon, and you're a pacemaker. You've done, and she just looked sad afterwards. I was like, what the hell was that? And I just went and gave her a hug, because I was like, she's about to run 42 Ks. Lovely chap, Isaac. I was so surprised to see him act like that. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but Nick, like you don't know the history behind all of this stuff. Like you saw one interaction, right? And yes, it was right before the start of a marathon. But this is like, if someone has like some sort of like misgiving or something, or about something, or if someone like, I'm not like, we don't need to get into the details of why it occurred, right? But if someone feels like their friend has been mistreated, then why should you shake someone's hand that you don't respect, or for whatever reason? Like, that would be a fake shake of hands. And there's some people that consider that like no integrity if you're going to behave like that.
I get it. Yeah, that's looking like you're two-faced. I totally understand it. But someone's put themselves out there. She's got a job to do. She's getting in the zone. She's run up to a thin start line, and he's just right in front of her, and she's just like, let's try not to make this awkward. And he's just then made it awkward. I hated to see it. I was like, I think that's low. But anyway,
do you think it's the time and place to like to introduce like a potential conflict?
I think like if someone's there who you've had a bit of conflict with or whatever, but you just kind of, we can deal with this later, but like, let's just smooth it over for now. We've got a job to do. I hated to see that awkwardness and then he kind of scuttled away. And I was like, do we really need this before a race? And
we don't. We don't need it before a
irritated
race.
me. I was like, that annoyed me. I really like Isaac. I just couldn't believe what I just saw. I was like, nah, that's not cool. Not before a race like that. Anyway, and then something else. Well, then I was talking to you, Moose, and right before they sort of bring out the other people behind us. But I think there was a group of VIPs who were behind the elites, because I was really confused, because like the people come up from the back behind us, and you can just tell they're not sub 2:30 marathon runners. They're like you can just tell that they're wearing GoPros, they're wearing kit which just isn't like
no shirt.
It's and there's a bloke who took his shirt off, and he wasn't, he was in good shape, but he's not in shape to run 2:30. And I was like, I'm not standing behind these blokes on the start line. So I then just went, nah, I'm going to the front, because it just annoyed me. Who are these people? And then they did that. They did all that carry on where they ran like next to Safan for the first bit of the race and was filming her like on their phones and stuff. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is a major marathon. I couldn't believe it. It was just so bizarre, the start of that race.
Doesn't that happen at most majors though? Like, you'll always get those few that
but
get to
in
the
London, because that's the only major I've done.
400 meters, and then
but in London they have them in a separate place. Like they have the people who are going to do that carry on. They do it on their own road, and it's the same in Berlin. And I get it that it's just the way Sydney is, and it was so well organized. It was just kind of, I didn't like the look of it. Basically, like you're starting a race, and there's people who are going to run fast for like 500 meters, and just kind of there's some women in there. Just the Japanese lady, I saw her kind of with her arms out trying to get some space for herself. She weighs 45-50 kilos, and then there are these big dudes trying to be influencers around her. It just wasn't the best look. So I think that might be something to kind of maybe iron out next year potentially. But generally, so well organized. And yeah, Benny really looked after the elites, and he did a great job. Him and his team over the weekend. All right, Leanne, maybe do your week and then go into race.
All right, I'll quickly go through this because I didn't do much. So Monday 25th, just did 15 minutes in the morning at 4:25s from the AIS, and this was my last heat session, so I did 20 minutes. I did a little bit of light gym in the afternoon, no run. I don't mind doing a little bit of gym on race week if it's early in the week and it's just like super light and just maybe like fast movements, lightweight, not too much. Tuesday, just a PM track session, and this was what I did before Nagoya, so just super short 5K warm-up, 4 times 1K, 4 times 200. The 1Ks were like 305, 302, 304, 302. They felt a lot harder than they should have been. But again, I think that just goes with like race week, taper week. You're thinking you're going to feel good because like, well, I'm doing less, so I should feel so much better. And then you don't, and you're like, oh, what's going on?
Still significantly faster than your race pace, though.
Oh yeah, this was not race pace.
Yeah, I mean that's no. I mean, what's the goal for that session? Is it just to make the marathon feel like it's kind of slow?
Well, I went to the track early. Actually, we were recording this night, I think. Yeah, we were. So I went to the track early before Des, and I just went out and did sort of whatever pace I felt like doing. But this wasn't my session on Thursday or Friday. That's the more like just 10 minutes of, I know it doesn't really matter. It wouldn't even matter if you don't even do your taper session, really. But this week, I don't think it really matters what you do as long as you don't do too much.
Thanks to ASICS for sponsoring this weekend show. Shop the ASICS Tokyo collection, experience premium running comfort and performance with their newest models, the Mega Blast and Sonic Blast. Visit asics.com.au or visit your running specialty store today.
Yeah, so Wednesday, 45 minutes in the morning, 4:25s. Then went to Sydney on Wednesday, sorry. And then in the evening, ASICS had their sort of Sydney Marathon shakeout run, which was, I was fine to go to this because this was Wednesday evening and this was well before the race. So it was actually really nice of them. I don't know whether it was planned planned like that, but to get it done early, to sort of be present and show your face at these things is good. But it wasn't too close to the race that, I was worrying about, doing too much. So yeah, we just did a 3.2K at 5:40s
Whoa,
in the evening.
3.2K.
Is it?
That doesn't count as a run.
Oh yeah, I know.
Only taper week moves. That's
Nah.
is that not different?
Even on the shakeout that we did with Brooks, I said I am not stopping until 25 minutes.
Well, this was just a bonus because all I was meant to do was just 45 minutes in the morning. So this is we can minus that from my total weekly mileage if you want.
I just delete it now, actually.
Hey, I'll just give it kudos. There you go.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Thursday, I didn't run in the morning because we had the press conference. We left at 8:30 and we didn't get back until maybe a bit after 12. And then, so this same issue that you were talking about, Julian. So I decided to actually push back my taper session to Friday because I thought there is no way I'm going to be able to run a 10-minute threshold in the evening or afternoon around Darling Harbour, Barangaroo, because it's just so busy. And there's just no organization. Like there's no like we drive on the left, so we walk on the left. There's none of that.
That's right.
Yeah. And it was, anyway, so we just committed to just doing 10K easy jog. Thursday afternoon, I ran with Aaron and actually James Niparis, which was nice to catch up with him. And also another big one about lots of people around. A lot of people on their phone, looking down at their phone, totally oblivious to the world around them. That was getting to me. I'm trying to do a jog and they're on their phone walking across the path, not even looking. Anyway, so Friday morning taper session, just 10-minute thresh, 4 times 30 seconds.
Did you take advantage of the massages and stuff? I
was going to. I couldn't decide which day, and then when I decided which day, it was Saturday. Like by the time I remembered again, it was Saturday. I thought, well, I'm not going to get it the day before, but I did actually get treatment on Tuesday, back like in Canberra. So I thought it's fine. So that was my threshold was 3:16. So I probably went out. Aaron came out and did it with me, and he said, "Oh, you go first. Like I don't want to run next to you. I don't want to start with you and make you run too fast." But he was starting behind me, so I sort of get this like, oh, he's chasing me. So, he didn't even end up catching me. So, threshold. Then Saturday, I went with Jess, Haftu, Adam, and Aaron. Adam did it, had a car, so we drove out to Centennial Park because we just didn't want to do another jog, especially on Saturday morning, sort of around the harbour. And it was a good decision, because Centennial Park was busy, but at least most people were runners, so they know which way to go. They know which side of the path to be on. So everyone was pretty considerate. So just 30 minutes and some strides. And
how'd you feel?
Not too bad. We were sort of, we were popping off the ground, I guess, which is good. I like feeling like that the day before.
You were pretty nervous at the race briefing on the Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I was.
I said, Leanne, you go over there and get your number. You just panicked and started pushing people out of the way and punching people. I was like, Leanne, calm down.
Yeah, no, I've been nervous for about 2 weeks, so
fair enough.
Yeah, and a good thing was there actually wasn't a lot of downtime. I thought, coming early, just going to be sitting in your room all day, but there actually were quite a few things to do. I mean, I popped into the expo as well. I didn't have to go to that Meet the Stars night, which I was, it looked amazing. Like it looked really good, but it was just another thing that, to be outside on your feet, more time, spending energy talking to people. But yeah, so it was actually it was a good few days leading in, and then Sunday
What
race day.
was the hotel room like?
The hotel was really nice.
Must be nice.
I don't know how else to answer that without sounding. Yeah.
What was in the elite rooms?
Elite rooms, like.
As in, there was a place for the runners to go, like in the hotel.
Oh, so like an athlete lounge kind of thing.
Yeah.
Standard stuff. Things for us to decorate drink bottles. They were there pretty much all day from sun up to sundown, just sitting in there just in case we had any questions. So it was, we were looked after really well.
It was a fair bit smaller actually than other, like say the Gold Coast Elite Lounge. That's quite big with a lot of food and drink and stuff. It was a bit smaller in Sydney because I just went in to pick up my bottles to decorate because I forgot to bring them, or I was just like wasn't considering it that important. So I grabbed those big Powerade ones they got, and I was like, oh, it's quite small in here. I thought there would be like 25 Africans like chilling out like normal, like all having a cup of tea and talking to each other, but they were sort of out in the bar area.
Yeah, and maybe the rooms were just so nice. We just want to be sitting in the room.
It's such a cool hotel though. Like, it was the hotel that you look at from a Barangaroo, and it's like this massive big wave almost. Yeah, very cool hotel.
Was there a spa and stuff?
Yeah, like pools, spa. They even have like that really nice gym as well. They have their own like nail salon in there as well. They got everything.
Did you get your nails done?
I had already gotten them done, so I was like, can't redo them. Do you want me to just go into the race then?
Yeah. What time do you get up? What time do your alarm go? What was the routine?
Yeah. So I do 3 hours before. So I was 3:30. But again, like Jess was the same. It's just like constantly waking up before the alarm because the alarm's going to go off. Pretty much, got dressed, did my hair, went down for breakfast, and then on the bus to the start line. So
what was the energy like on the bus?
I was sitting right behind Julian. It was not much energy. Not much energy at all, really.
all the wheelies were on there.
Yeah, that's true.
They always talk to each other, and they're very social.
They must have had a hell of a bond because they race each other all around, and obviously the scene just isn't quite as big as the able-bodied races. So they must know. They seem to know each other really well.
Yeah,
which is nice. Yep. So okay. So you didn't know many people on the bus?
Julian and Tommy sitting next to us. What happened before the race? Not much. I mean, we did the same thing. I just did 9 minutes on that real short up and back. That was kind of nice. I did that with Jess, and she's really good because we kind of laugh a bit and we keep it really light, which kind of going to what you were saying, that like being with someone like that just helps.
Definitely.
Yeah. You don't tense up as much, and you don't think about, you're not worrying about stuff.
And did she organise Tom Middleton to be your pacer?
I don't actually know how that came about. It was just a couple of days before we got asked if there was a second pack, what pace would we like? So I just sent my preference. I'm assuming others did too, and it sort of settled at 3:24s, I think it was.
What did you send?
3:25, so.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So someone.
When I heard it was.
Do you reckon Jess has gone for 2:24 there?
Maybe, but to me it was 2:24, 2:25, much of a muchness. So it was actually really nice and really helpful that he ended up being the pacer for that, because, well, I may as well talk about that now. So his pacing was so good because we sort of spoke about how do you pace. Well, I thought about how do you pace a hilly race, because you could do it where you keep the pace consistent, so you're running the same pace up the hill and then trying to keep the same pace down the hill. So essentially you feel like you're working harder on the up but easier on the down. but Tom was really good. So I felt pretty comfortable up most of the hills, except for maybe later on in the race. But the early ones felt pretty good because we actually kind of backed off the pace and then used the hill to roll down. But then that was also playing on my mind that are we using the hills too much to roll down, that my legs are going to pay for this later, because I don't know how I'm going to feel later.
You know what? Just before that, I
Mm,
reckon your Sunday long runs are similar to ours, where we do not back off up the hills.
mm,
Like you get to the bottom of a hill and you don't go, oh, we'll just slow down, take it easy. It's like, this is a good point to push a little bit. The heart rate goes
yeah,
up this hill, and then we'll have a
yeah,
break at the top, or we'll actually cruise
yeah,
on the downhill.
yeah.
And so it's a very weird feeling to get to the bottom of the hill in these races and go, take it easy now, and turn
Yeah.
turn the volume down.
Yeah. So I didn't mind it. I think that's maybe why my overall experience was better, because we ran it that way. I will say, and this is nothing against what anyone had said, but I think they may have put the emphasis on which hills were going to be the harder ones on the wrong hills, if that makes sense. So there was all this talk about Oxford Street being, the big hill, apart from maybe Mrs. Macquarie's chair or whatever. There was not much mention of like the earlier hills when you're running through sort of almost past the W, past the race hotel, sort of in that first, what is it, 12 kilometers?
They were like those
Some of those
motorway
hills,
ramp type things, weren't they?
yeah.
Some of them were
They're
pretty
actually
peachy.
really steep. Whereas I found Oxford Street not that difficult. I don't know if anyone else had the same experience, but I just felt like what I thought was going to be the harder ones. Yeah. And then when we were going up the hard ones, I thought, oh, they didn't really mention these ones. Like but at least the pacing kind of, made that sort of easier anyway.
And you're fresh then too. Like you got the legs for it.
Yeah. That definitely helps. But I actually fell off the pack. I don't even know how many times. Maybe like 6 times. And I don't know if actually, did we catch you, Nick?
Yeah, so I was just looking at your splits. So your first 5K is 16:48, which is, way under pace, but obviously you've got 80 meters of downhill you've gone.
Yeah.
But then your second is also sub 17. So you've gone through 10K in 33:44. So because my plan for the race was kind of not to go off with the elite females because they were going 2:20, but I kind of wanted just to go off slightly ahead of your group, because I thought if you end up doing cat and mouse and stuff, I don't want to be like then kind of solo. So I was like, I reckon there'd be like a bloke pack form in front of yours, and it ended up being just Matt Cox. So I ended up running, like, I caught him up after like 5K or something, and then I just went the whole way with him. But we're ahead of you after 5K by like 14 seconds, and then 10K like 20 seconds, and then you basically caught us up at 15K. So you're going up Oxford Street, you said that it didn't feel hard. I thought that felt hard. So you must have been going through a hell of a good patch during that time.
Yeah. I just don't think it was as steep as I was expecting. I mean, even though we actually drove on that street the day before to get to Centennial Park, but it just didn't give me that like, wow, this is killing me kind of hill. And it was like, it wasn't even that long either. Like I sort of got to the top. But I did go through, so I didn't actually go through any really bad patches. There was no time during the race where I thought, I'm not going to finish this. Like that never even came through my mind. But I did drop off the pack like 6 times. And I was still close enough. Like it might have been like 5 meters or 10 meters or whatever every time. So I was still close enough. I was like, well, I can close it. Like if the finish was right there, like I can close that. But how many times do I want to be closing this and just spending that energy?
When did that first happen?
You know what? I think it's my drink stations. I think it was most drink stations.
I was going to say, your drinking is terrible. So we had the best pack once you guys caught up with me and Matt. we then jumped into your pack, and it was being led by Tom Middleton, and we were going down that Anzac Parade bit that Julian said was boring. I loved that bit because we had the most coherent pack, and every drink station,
And I ruined it.
I'd kind of get. I'd get to the back of the pack because I was like, I don't want to get in Leanne's way. I don't want to get in Jess's way. There was a Japanese lady still there too. I was like, no, I'm getting the hell out of here. But then because you were so slow drinking, we both end up getting massively like 20 meters back from the pack. Like I remember the 25K one, I think was a classic where like the pack was perfect. And then we just like dropped right off. And then suddenly the Japanese lady had gone with a couple of the dudes.
In my defense, she was like so zippy with that. And she just, she was really good at the drink stations. But I do agree, like probably the 6 times I fell off were from the 6 times going through drink stations.
So you would just drop off at least 10 meters. And even I'm crap at drinks, but you are terrible at it. So
I mean,
there's some low-hanging fruit for you to practice there.
I know. It's holding my breath to drink and even take a gel. Like, even though it's not terribly hard, I don't like that feeling of like gasping for air right after almost. I don't know if I'm the only one that experiences that.
No,
but,
I know what you mean. It kind of feels like you're drowning a bit.
I think like you have a sponsor, of course, but it might be worth just trying some gels that are very thin. Like when I start to struggle, I go to the thin gels, and I can literally like get a gel down in one suck, and it's gone.
Yep.
And it could be just worth experimenting.
Yeah. Because some of them were no go.
I had Morton in a water, so I just had the gel from the Morton. So it's still a bit it's a bit gross, but it goes down really easily just with a bit of water. And earlier in the race, like you can kind of have it a bit thicker, so a bit less water. But like further on in the race, I filled it up a bit more with water so that I could then get it down like easier just with more water. But you're certainly struggling compared to Jess, who's obviously done a lot more marathons. She's a pro. She was looking so strong in that pack until we went through 21K in like 71:40, and you were not looking great at that point, and she was looking so strong. I was like, oh, come on, Leanne. So I kept I don't know, because I kept accidentally ending up in the sweet spot, so I kept moving and going, Leanne, go there, that's your spot.
You kept looking back for me. I was like, I'm here for this.
You're like, I'm still here. I'm like, come on, Leanne, this is the sweet spot, get there. And then there's another drink station, and then you're back. You're back with Julian somewhere, and it's just and So then 29K. What happened there, Leanne?
So
Wait, what did you go through halfway in first?
Yeah, with 71:40.
Oh, sorry, missed that.
I can tell you, and this is like so unlike me. I did not look at the time once or my watch once. The first time I actually saw the time was when I was
next to every single 5K marker. You just didn't look at the clock.
I just missed them.
They were huge.
My finish time. Yeah, my finish time was the first time I saw.
You short-sighted and you just don't have glasses.
No.
What was showing on your watch? What screen was on your watch?
Yeah, well, I had plans to lap. I was like, I'll lap every 5K and look at it, and I just couldn't be bothered. Like at that point,
you knew
I
where
thought,
your race was, though, didn't you? So
yeah, exactly. Like the pace didn't really matter what I was doing because this was the pack. Like,
What a good
I mean,
way
actually,
to be.
and I think for something like that, I didn't even, wouldn't even know my watch was on really. But 29K, I was.
You went into that was where the stadium was, like at Centennial Park.
Yeah.
Oh, that, what do you call that? That was like Moore Park, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's Moore Park, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Where you go into the stadium.
Yep. And I was back in the pack there. I was pretty much running next to Jess, I think. And then she kind of dropped back maybe like 2 steps. And this was the first time in the race that she was behind me. So I just assumed, well, I've had quite a few sort of bad patches. This might just be her bad patch. And even earlier in the race, like I was never, every time I dropped off, it wasn't like, oh, I can't back up. But my worry was like, is this, every time you drop off, it's like, is this the one where you just never get back on? That was the worry. But anyway, yeah, so she slightly dropped off, and I may have, I do actually remember this because it was the crowd was quite good around there, like Centennial Park and those kind of corners where everyone could see multiple spots.
Yeah.
It was really, really loud. And I think when she ended up dropping behind just a little bit, the crowd was really loud. I actually felt pretty good at that stage. I kind of got a rush of blood, and I kind of like not really pushed the pace, but just kind of like, I don't know, got a bit excited. And then I had to look and see, we're only at 30K right now. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you think you've won this here, then like you're an idiot. Because
especially when there's a drink station coming up, Leanne. Just because I hit the front of the pack at that point. I looked to my left, and you were right there with me. And then I turned around, and there was 5 meter gap to Jess. And then I was like, oh, hang on. I don't want to influence this race. So basically, I made sure I ran next to you rather than you drafting me. And then then Matt Cox caught us up with that Essendon guy. I think his name's Ethan Williams. I've never heard of him before, but he was so strong in that race. So then Matt Cox and him hit the front of the pack. We went through the drink station. You were suddenly gone. So that was the last I saw you basically.
At the back.
Yeah, she was out the back. Yeah.
Did
but
you?
Not by far.
So did you make a tactical call to go, I'm not going with these boys here?
Well, it felt like you sort of picked up the pace, and you. Are you sure?
I don't know. Ask Matt Cox. He was a great person to draft. So at that point, I needed some help.
Yeah, actually, overall, my race was pretty consistent. There's no, I stayed pretty strong the second half. It did get pretty lonely though. Pretty much after Jess dropped off, then it was sort of, you boys ahead, and then it was me. I didn't really mind that though, because I could sort of just do my own thing. But I did know that Jess was not far behind, because you can tell because someone's cheering my name and then someone's cheering Jess's name not far after. So I knew she was still there. So I thought, well, maybe she's just regathering and she'll come back on soon. Also, while I remember, you go.
Yeah. So in your head, when you're hearing Jess is behind you, the cheers, are you in a positive frame of mind going, oh, this is good. I feel good. Like I can drop the hammer at any time. Or are you thinking, fuck, Jess is going to catch me. I'm going to look silly because I'm going to get past. Like, how's your frame of mind when you're hearing the cheers?
It's sort of both. It's like I said, at first I got really excited, this is great, and I actually felt good. I felt like, well, if I sort of did have to maybe push it a little bit, but also knowing that later on, and I was 100% correct, later on it gets to a point where you're just moving. Your legs would not do whatever you ask them to do. If they had to respond, they won't. It's just whatever pace they can do to get to the finish, and that's exactly how it was. I felt confident being in front, thinking she might come past me soon. But then as we got further, the sound of her name being called was getting fainter and fainter. So that was sort of me like, okay, maybe that sort of elastic band has snapped. I think I was pretty confident, but you can never be confident. Even going down Mrs. McCrory's chair, I was sort of I didn't look back, but I sort of couldn't see her, and I was like, oh, maybe she's on right on my shoulder and I can't even see her here, just being absolutely silly, but
just irrational.
Yeah. Or maybe she passed me and I didn't see her pass me. But I was actually feeling pretty good.
You picked up, because we picked up a couple of blokes in that last bit. You must have just run straight past those guys.
Yeah. Some men and some women, which was also nice. And Jess actually mentioned that when we did that little before Anzac Parade, we did that little cut out bit. Out and back. And we were passing some women, and she turned to me and she said, "This is good. We're picking up internationals. It feels pretty good, doesn't it?" And I was like, "It does. It really sort of a boost that you're sort of running this race correctly."
Yes.
In terms of nutrition, I got I got most of it in. There was one table which was maybe the 15th. Actually, I don't know. There was one table where my bottle wasn't out. Oh, and that's one where actually I did get dropped a fair way because I was sort of looking for my bottle ahead and I realized it wasn't there. So I sort of half stopped and I thought, there's no time for that. Just keep running.
Was that when they switched the tables from the left to the right? Because that
I
confused the
think
hell out of me
so.
as well. And I
Yeah.
think my bottle was gone on that one as well. On
Okay, that makes
first one that was on the right. I think other people got confused too, because like my bottle certainly wasn't there, and I kind of stopped and had a real big look for it, and it wasn't there. But then Matt
Yeah.
gave me some of his. What a lovely chap! Like just that proper camaraderie that you get during marathons. He was like, "Nick, you didn't get your drink. Have some of this." I was like, "Cheers."
Yeah, that was the same when I missed mine. I sort of yelled out to Tom. I was like, "Hey Tom, what's in your bottle?" Because obviously I just wanted to check first. And he said, "Oh, just water." I was like, "Can I have some?" So he gave me some. But I spoke to Liam Adams after the race, and he said, I think there was just a little bit of a mistake with a couple of the tables. So the men's bottles are meant to be put out before the women's, obviously. So they take theirs and then they shuffle the women's back as we come through. But I think they did the opposite way. Right. So the women's were put out, so the men would just take, well, whatever's there.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's okay. It was only one table for me, and it wasn't one with a gel on it, so I was okay.
So how many did you get down? How many gels?
10, 20K, 25K, 35K. And it did get to a point where I'm sort of like holding this gel towards the end of the race. Definitely. It's like, I really did not want it. I'm like looking at it like, I don't want to take this. So I'm sort of like grimacing and like just trying to get it down. I got most of the gels down, but I would sort of get to the end and I was like, all right, I've had enough. But I didn't feel like, I think I did that one right. I didn't feel like energy at the end was the problem. That wasn't the thing that I felt like I was sort of holding me back. It was just, just the legs. So I saw, 38K is sort of in my head. I was just repeating to myself, like, at that point, I knew I was going to finish. There's no doubt in my mind. There's like, I'm not going to finish here because, like, I know my legs can, like, they'll get through it somehow. But I was just repeating to myself, like, just get through Mrs. McCory's chair and you're done. Like, just get through that. So I sort of just ticked off points of Mrs. McCory's chair. I saw Brady, as I was coming up, I saw Brady going down and he was so up and about. He was like...
I got a shout out for him too. I was just, he was having the time of his life.
Absolutely nauseating stuff from him.
He was just up on his toes, bouncing like he hadn't run like 38K already.
He was having the best day of his life. How did you go on that downhill at 39K, Leanne?
I was pretty worried for it. So I was worried for down on that and down to the finish. I sort of by then, so I have problems with my toenails getting really beat up in my shoes. It's not a size thing. So if anyone tries to tell me, get bigger shoes, don't, because I have.
Sorry about that comment.
I have plenty big shoes. It's just how I run. I sort of slam into the ground when I run. So it causes me problems. So at this point going down Mrs. McCory's chair, I could feel my toes starting to be like pretty sore. Obviously my legs were just hanging in there, but I knew at that point I was like, all right, I got enough strength left in them to just hold me up.
And then we went past Aiden Hobbs, who was just cooked after that.
He was
downhill.
done.
He was limping so badly. I was like, oh, you poor bastard. I thought that was really, I know, I talked to Benny afterwards and Mona actually. I was like, that was the worst part of the race for me, that 39K steep downhill. My quads, I could feel them. They felt lumpy. It was awful. And then I got wobbly at the bottom. You know when you see those people like Cheptegei at World Cross when he's just like he's stumbling like jelly along. I was just like, oh no. But yeah. I mean, so you were obviously pretty solid through there.
I was a little bit worried, and this was the part of the race I've been worried for since I knew what the course was. And like, so then turning the corner, Like by this time I was just like, all sorts of ugly, just making faces. But the hill wasn't too bad. It sort of switched up the muscles, and I'm sure everyone could probably agree that like the down was, I don't know, just that feeling of like one wrong step, if I'm not concentrating, my legs will just buckle.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The super shoes make it sort of dangerous.
Yeah.
Just being so soft and so high off the ground. Like I felt really awkward in them.
Yeah. And even we spoke about this on Sunday afternoon. The paint on the roads, like the road lines, are really thick, so they're almost raised. And our pacer was kind of in the middle of the road, so we're trying to get behind the pacer, but I'm running on the lines, but because they're not flat to the road, my ankles were going pretty much like right angles, like twisting everywhere.
You were just on the steepest gradient of paint to road ratio, and your ankle, it went at such an angle. I was just like, oh, that is game over, surely. And you just went, you just started laughing or something. You're like, oh. And I was like, okay, she's fine. But geez, I was like,
fine.
Get off that bloody paint.
I was running up the hill. Running is a stretch, but I was going up the hill, and I started to feel like I had sore knees, and I looked down, and I've got like this massive chafe on the inside of my knees from my knees rubbing together as I was running. So I had that little control of what was happening below my hips.
Knees together.
My knees were bashing together, and I've got this big chafe patch on both inner knees, like my inner quads, inner VMOs are like rubbing together. And I've only seen it happen once to a mate, and we gave him so much stick for having inner knee chafe. And now I got it, and I looked down and I thought, oh no.
Yeah, that's extreme.
It's extreme muscle soreness, I think. It's and glute weakness.
Yeah. So fatigue.
How'd you go up that hill, Leanne?
Not too bad actually. I felt okay because the finish line is in sight, like really, like. And at that point, I'm like, okay,
41K is essentially the finish line, isn't it? Because you can just
I was like,
down that hill.
Yeah, I think I'm in front. Like, I wasn't super short, like confident. I did have a lot of people at that point yelling at me, "Oh, you can catch Nick!" Like, no, I can't.
Imagine
they were still acting like
it's completely irrelevant to your race.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, everyone, but I
think you actually went up faster than Nick, maybe in that up the hill. There'll be a segment actually. Why don't you keep?
Yeah, okay, I'll keep going.
Yeah, you keep going. I'll find the segments.
Yeah, I ran 3:34 up for the 41st K. And pretty much the next thing was just this long, steep downhill that all was just okay. Like the crowd is so loud. Like it was pretty cool.
So cool.
That many people cheering and just like, this is it. Like this is the finish. This is what we've been like talking about for the past 8 weeks. So just stay upright pretty much. Like do whatever you have to do to just keep your legs moving forward without buckling. And I actually felt all right once I hit the flat. Actually, with 200 meters to go, I felt my toenail burst, and it was pretty painful. But I was like, all right, just get to the finish here. Like, so glad that it didn't burst any earlier because that would have been a really uncomfortable way to be running. And yeah, coming up to the finish line. May have been a little bit of a close call at the finish line with the finish tape. I'm not sure what was how much was shown on the footage, but it was a bit of a scramble for them. I don't think they realized I was coming. They were scrambling to get the tape up, and I could see them scrambling for it, but I was sort of thinking I can't really slow down here. And then because I was right there, they couldn't really decide whether to put it up or pull it down, so it was halfway. And I sort of hit the tape and it sort of hooked around my legs, and I just was sort of head was going over legs, and I was like, "This is it, I'm going down." And because
This
my
is going to
legs
be a
had,
meme.
yeah, because my legs really didn't have much strength or control at all. I just, yeah, but somehow I stayed on my feet, and there were no issues for anyone. But yeah, and came away with a small PB, so I'm happy with that.
Getting a PB on that course is outrageous.
Not just a PB, but you've run the fastest time in Australia by an Australian as well.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
You knew that, surely.
I saw. Okay, I did.
Of course you fucking knew that.
I was just trying to act surprised.
Nah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
What else you got for me? And so, Leanne, I wanted to, like, a few directions we can take this now. How much money did you win? It's my favorite direction to go in. I love talking about money.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can.
Yes, you
say
do.
About... I don't actually know. I don't know if I'm going to be called up for this. There's obviously the obvious ones that are out there. So there's the 30 for the Aussie, top 10 in a major. So 7th place was 7,000.
US.
Yeah, US. Yes, that's
US.
nice. Yeah. And then obviously there were other bonuses within contracts with ASICs and then with the race, which, yeah, added up as well. And then unfortunately I'll be taxed on that. So...
Oh, tax! No one else pays tax.
You don't have a job though, so you won't even hit the bracket. Like you'll be fine.
No.
How about how she earns like her fucking yearly wage in one morning?
Yeah, that's outrageous.
That's amazing stuff from you.
Because this is my job now, I do get taxed like everyone else.
Yeah, well, that happens. I'm not feeling very sorry for you.
What was your job before, Leanne? Just while I'm thinking of it.
I managed a gym, but they didn't like how
right.
much time I took off. So
Yeah, fair enough.
Those workplaces that want you to work. So why don't you just give us a rundown of your sort of finish and your thoughts, Nick, on the whole last bit of the race?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Centennial Park actually. And then we went into the headwind, but I was working with Matt Cox and this Ethan Williams dude, both like 6'2" or something, and just amazing to run with. And yeah, and then we basically worked together, and then around Mrs. Macquarie's chair, we were still together. And then like down that hill, Matt Cox is bloody good downhill, and he's also really good with his drinks. He absolutely bolts them, and he actually gapped me every time. But then, yeah, that was the worst part of the race for me, was that steep downhill. And then I was worried about the up, but suddenly the up didn't seem as bad as the down. So, and then suddenly we're at 41 Ks, and I was like, oh, hang on, if I do like a 340 for the last, or like 350 or something for the last 1.2 Ks, and I can go under 224. So I absolutely went for it down that hill as fast as I could without kind of falling over or whatever, and absolutely sprinted to the finish because there was a 400 meters to go. I had 80 seconds to go under 224, and I definitely went sub 320 pace. So that was wrong. That 400 meters to go sign was misleading because I was like, I've done it. I just have to, and I've averaged like 3-minute Ks for that last 400 meters, and like I've taken 90 seconds to do it. So that was probably the icing off the cake, because like before the race I said I want sub 225, I want to beat Leanne, I want Leanne to win. But so it was pretty perfect. It would have been really nice to have a 223.59 so I could just say 223. But I was generally really happy with my race, and it was really nice finishing and then you coming over the line, Leanne, and just like you were just like kind of overwhelmed, and then they asked you to go for an interview immediately, and you were like, what does my face look like? I was like, okay, you got some gel hanging out of your mouth,
spit up near your eye,
you've got, and then you wiped your face. I was like, you actually got it, and you were looking fine. So I was just like, no, you're good. And then obviously just you went off and then waited for Jess to come over, which took like a kind of weird amount of time because I thought she was going to be real close, but then she clearly struggled in that last bit. So
Yeah.
was it? And she fair play to her for getting home. You saw the footage. Obviously, you were there holding her up after the race. She's so tough.
Yeah.
Just getting to the finish like that. Yeah. Fair play to her.
Her quads were had done their job. Done their job a while ago, and she just she said, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but she said she had to walk down that last K, that hill. She had to walk that bit, get to the flat to finish it off. So
really, with Lisa coming behind her.
Yep.
Oh, that's rough.
Wow,
that was real classy of you guys all hugging at the end. I loved it.
Oh,
I was
was so good.
That's beautiful. What a moment in Aussie distance running, and it's almost like passing the torch a little bit as well, because you are, the youngster compared to those guys, and you've just absolutely smoked them, to be honest. So that was a really nice moment, I thought, and like it was really classy from all involved, I thought, and it was really nicely done.
And
shout out
Jess,
to Have to as well, actually, for his win, because obviously I asked him about going out in 28 minutes, and he said no, not this time. So he was like good humored about it, and he's done so well to like run 2:11 on his second marathon. That's bloody impressive on that course too. So yeah, Have to's done super well there. Tommy DeCanto though, geez, coming second Aussie, 2:13 on that course. That's probably you're the run of the day, Leanne, but then it's Tommy, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd say that. But I looked at that segment up the hill. Tom's run 3:05 pace up the hill at Macquarie's Chair. Up the hill.
Far out.
That is like that's how good he looked at the end too.
Yeah.
I
saw some photos, and he looked fresh as. Don't know if he felt like that, but
no, he was thinking of the money too. He loves it. It somehow freshens you up a bit. I'm telling you, it makes all your quad pain disappear. When you debuted in Nagoya, and how do you compare the atmosphere of the race and the setup here compared to that run?
Oh, I mean, crowd support. Well, obviously being at home, you're going to get more personalized.
True.
That was beyond my expectations. That many people cheering my name, I almost like, I even think about it now. Like, I would have never thought that many people would be supporting me. Just from everyone. And even like this whole event was obviously, being a major, it has to be professional, but it just was like, sure. And I'm sure there's lots of things we don't know about that, they had problems with to fix for next time. But, and we can pick out all the things that we can think of, that, not that I have many, that need improvement, but just, I can't even, we spoke about this already, but I can't even imagine putting on something like this, having to think of everything.
It's huge.
Oh, but it was so cool, and I'm so happy with my decision. That I chose to run Sydney and not World Champs. I'm sure World Champs would be great, but I'm very happy with my decision.
It was a special race, so kudos to everyone who organised. And I mean, I've mentioned the start line, I wasn't too happy with that, and the coverage sounds like it wasn't great. But I mean, the event itself, with all the people out cheering, all the pride flags, I thought was cool. That was a cool section, going through some of those southeastern suburbs, and then it was just I mean, it was a hard course, but we knew that was communicated super well. We knew what we were in for, and like Benny and Wayne Larden and everyone in the team, just to see that caliber of running in Australia. Like those, when you get all those Kenyans, they're all wearing the same kit and stuff, and it just kind of just looks legit. And having that on the streets of Sydney was really cool. And that finishing bit was amazing. Like going past, you got the bridge and then the Opera House. It was just really special. And obviously, I mean, London, you got Buckingham Palace, which is iconic, but that's Australia's like iconic spot right there, and they've just completely nailed it. So I thought it was really well organized, and like it felt like a major. So I think kudos to those organizers there. It was amazing.
Every single brand making noise up there as well, which sort of brings in heaps of industry people, and it brings in people from that aren't even doing the race as well. So you don't just have the runners, you have all the training partners want to be involved up there, and it did become a running city for a weekend. I'm not calling Sydney a running city because I just
you slag it off a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I'm not. But for this weekend, it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've been to the marathon. I didn't do it, but been around the marathon in Tokyo and then also Berlin a couple of times, and the pre-race vibes are the same. Like running
shoes
tourists
in the wild.
Yeah,
that's what you're getting. Like that's...
everywhere. There are it's a very identifiable tourist, the running marathon or the traveling marathoner. But there's a good thing. Like yesterday, we catch a train to the airport at 7 a.m. or something, and there's like people heading home, and they're talking about their race, and they're just random people chatting about the marathon. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. It's a game changer. Like Melbourne Marathon, Gold Coast, all be. I don't reckon that. I reckon they might have underestimated how big this was for Sydney.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I reckon that everyone was like, it's Sydney. It's like average race.
Oh, it was on bike paths a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Now it felt like London. It's on that kind of level now. It's not like a parochial little marathon. It's legit, like global. I mean, you had Kipchoge and Hassan there. I mean, they spent a lot of money to get them there, and it was worth it, I reckon. And how good was Kipchoge? Like, just doing all the media stuff, and just
he's here as a bit of a sideshow to the athletic part of the race, I think. Like,
true.
You
but
get
he's
feeling?
The one who people want to see him, and he was getting more attention coming 9th than the guy who won. To be honest, I can't name who won the bloke's race. Can you, Moose?
He ran 2:04 last year. He ran.
What's his name?
Paris guy.
Exactly. Leanne, do you know his name?
No.
Kipchoge. Okay, like he came 9th. So that's the kind of thing.
Who came 3rd?
Who came 3rd? I've no idea.
I don't know.
How do we not know who came 3rd? Who came 3rd in the women's race?
Cosco.
Wasn't she 2nd?
Oh, well then Workinish, whatever her name is. She won last year.
Yes, you're right. She did come 3rd.
Yeah.
And that's why we needed cameras on the Aussie women right there.
Yes. I was going to mention something. I think one thing that the race can do now that they've made it earlier in the year is to shift the start time back to increase crowd numbers on the course. Like I think we can handle a couple of degrees more in temperature to elevate the spectator experience, because the first half an hour of the race to me felt like running people on the sideline. It didn't feel like the general population. It felt like hardcore runners that had come out. And then after maybe 7 o'clock, 7:15, then you get to 7:30, 7:45, like the streets got crowded then. And I reckon you could shift the race back an hour and you could just pump up the crowd numbers so much more. And I don't think that you would get that much pushback, considering this is not a fast place to run anyway. Like when you consider like Tokyo starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, pretty sure Berlin's like a 9:30 start.
Yeah, London's 9:30.
9:30. And
what about even earlier in the year? Say me early August, and then having it at like 8:30.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a better race.
Maybe now that they've shown themselves, like if they can, if it was successful, I'm assuming it was successful. Isn't the bridge one of their big sort of factors that closing it, because I know they did say that, like, don't worry, the bridge will be back open by 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So I don't know, unless, you know, the government is like, yep, well, it's worth it closing the bridge for longer. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What about the 10K? What about the 10K Moose? What's
get rid of it?
I think it's irrelevant. I think get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't need it at all. Like, takes resources away, money away from the main event, takes spectators away. They have to go on a slightly different route. Like, whole start. Like, forget it. And just
no other major does that.
No.
I don't know why they put that on. There must be a reason for it. Maybe to get more people out on the streets. I don't even know how many people did the 10K. I don't know anything about it.
I think it's the last year. I think they're getting rid of it.
Okay, good.
That's what I heard. That's
you don't need it. The marathon looks after itself. Just it's a major marathon. That's what it is. So you don't need a 10K on this.
Leanne, you haven't really touched on it in the show. However, a lot of people have picked it up since, like, you've started to chat. You're obviously very tough mentally, running through sickness, and then I know you ran through your hamstring injury. Like, Ali tells this story of the day after you paced Nagoya, you literally, like, were proper limping, and you still got out for your run. And she was looking around going, is anyone seeing this? Like, what? She's crazy. You're obviously, like, super tough person. Is this something that you've worked with psychs before? Is it something that's ingrained in your DNA? Like, do you have some sort of traumatic experience you're trying to root your way through, or does your like your faith, your religion, play a part in this?
Oh, wow. I never really thought I was, to be honest. So it's hard to sort of hear this, if that makes sense. Because I mean, obviously, like, yesterday was a good, not yesterday, sorry. I'm still, yeah, I'm missing a few days there. Sunday was a good run, and I'm happy with that. And I'm happy with how I did approach it mentally, and I sort of compare it to World Cross when it was in Bathurst, and I imagine that's what the Olympics is like. Haven't been, hope to go, but when there's so much meaning on it, I think, I don't know, you're willing, and not every race I feel as mentally tough as, you know, not all of them is the same. There definitely wasn't a traumatic childhood experience. I can cross that off.
That was a half joke.
I think it's just me. I mean, I've always been competitive. I'm sure that sort of plays a part. I mean, obviously my faith is probably, like, it is massive, that, you know, I have to remind myself that it doesn't really matter what happens at the end of the day. And I mean, everyone should think like that. Doesn't matter. It's still you. Yeah, it's not, you know, you still, yeah. I think it's just me, though. I don't know. But I'm not always, like I said, it's not always there. And sometimes it's a miss. Sometimes it's a hit, and sometimes it's a miss. And maybe you just don't hear about my misses, but I definitely have a lot of them. So yeah, I don't know if that really answered your question, though.
It's a difficult question.
The cream rises to the top, though, Moose. Like, it's kind of, it's a biased question in that you've just asked someone who's run the fastest Aussie marathon in Australia, like, you know, why you're tough. I mean, she's tough because she's here. You see what I mean? But, like, so I just think it's just part of the character of, like, you could just push through. And that's, like, pain. Some people deal with pain differently from others. And you can somehow channel, like, that. Because you were suffering after 25K. I was like, Leanne is cooked. I hope she can hold off Lisa to come second.
Hang on. Wait. Can we just mention something that I haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah.
You're breathing. You're breathing.
Yeah, I was actually being quiet.
It's so annoying.
Okay. So you're talking about thinking I was done. I thought you were done. You breathe so heavy and so hard. I was like, man, Nick is working real hard here. Like, I literally thought you were maxed out like at halfway.
No,
But
I was
that's just
going
how you
easy.
breathe?
Apparently, to be honest, I felt pretty comfy for most of. I was a bit like you. I was kind of dropping back a bit and then feeling shit and then feeling really good and being up far up in the pack. And there was one point where I kind of, when the Japanese lady got ahead, I then went with that group, and then I just was suddenly like absolutely cooked. And then Ethan Williams goes like, "Should we just go back in the pack?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's just wait for him." So we just jumped back, but. Yeah, I was going through a few bad patches like you were talking about, but it's always been my limiting factor, my breathing, and that's why I think I'm good at marathons, because like during 10Ks, I've just maxed out with the heart and lungs. So I think marathons, like it's less of a factor. It's more just general fatigue. And I think that's why EPO would be great for me, because then, my muscles are working more efficiently, and, you don't need to breathe as heavy. So EPO would be good, but obviously I would never touch the stuff. So like it's just my limiting factor, and I'm used to it, and it's just something I've had to deal with, and other people have to deal with when they're in a race against me, unfortunately for them.
Yeah. I'm glad you got to experience it, Leanne, because we've talked about it already on this show.
It's got like a grunt to it. It's like every breath has like a grunt to it, so it really sounds like you're about to die. Like
seriously, later in the race, it got so much worse at that just before 41K.
It's so painful.
How are the DOMs? Because I've got the worst DOMs I've ever had in my whole life.
Yep.
I have pulled up better. So I know I did touch on when you asked me about like preparations and what am I scared about, and I was worried about the conditioning. Well, I feel like I'm in a good spot because I've pulled up better than I did after Nagoya.
Wow.
So I'm still sore, like extremely sore, and like getting up, walking, I'm slow as, but I was like absolutely useless after Nagoya. At this point, 2 days later, I wouldn't be walking like I am now. So I'm pretty happy with how, from marathon 1 to marathon 2, yeah, maybe I just do have some more conditioning and legs can handle a bit more.
Yeah. And you ran a lot, right? In the lead up. That mileage just, it calluses the legs. And
like Burley Griffin as well, because of that constant undulations.
Concrete too, isn't it?
You were going fast down those hills as well, so conditions.
Yeah. And I think just adding each build is just going to do that. And I mean, but then you look at Jess, and she said, I saw her the next day, she said, "This is the sorest I have ever been after a marathon." And this is, I don't know how many marathons. So I guess, I don't know.
It was the sharpness of the hills.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't like the overall of elevation. It was that they were in short little blocks and going down them. Just next year, like if I was going to coach, I'm not going to say I'll run it again because who knows. But if I was if I was coaching someone to Sydney, you're doing a lot of gym work here. You're doing a lot of like eccentric work in the gym, and you're peppering yourself on downhill long runs, like starting at the top of a big hill and running down just once or twice. I think that it would just come in so handy.
I mean, I don't know what the elevation is, but it was so much harder than Great Ocean Road, like the elevation wise, because how sharp the hills were. I found.
Do you reckon? Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know.
I actually felt
a lot hillier.
Sorry. I actually felt like the kilometers ticked by pretty quick for me, which is, how sometimes when things are tough and it's like, oh, this race is taking forever. I found I was actually pleasantly surprised when, kilometer markers came up and I thought I was 2K backwards the other way. So I don't know what it is, but I actually really enjoyed the course, but I can say that because I had a good run. It's a lot easier to say that when you've had a good one.
You had a great group. Tom Middleton did a great job for that.
Yeah.
For like 29Ks, and then you dropped him basically. And so like it was a nice group to be in. When I joined that group, I was like, oh, this is I think everyone was respectful and kind of like looking after each other. It was just a good vibe in the group, and no one was chatting away and carrying on like certain people were on the course. So so it was a nice it was a really nice vibe in the group, I thought.
Mm.
Yeah. We're going to get back. Actually, listeners, don't worry. You're going to hear from these guys again. So stay tuned on that. They're not disappearing. They'll come back. We will, before we go to the next edition of this little series, I want to ask what your plans are in the short term. Nick, what do you got coming up? Where do you want to be with your running within the next month or so?
So, I think recover from this. Don't disrespect the impact. But I do want to do Melbourne half. So hopefully I can get in kind of 68-minute shape
That's
for Melbourne
5
half.
weeks. 5 weeks away.
Isn't it? Hang on.
Five and a
It's
half.
weeks.
5.5.
It's a month and a half away. Is it early August, October? That
October
was
12th.
kind of loose.
Yeah.
That was the loose plan. So I'll see. But if I come good, I'll try and get entries for that. And then the summer is going to be trying to go sub 15 for 5K and then just doing other races. But that's the main goal because I haven't done that I didn't do it last year. No, I did do it last year in March, but I didn't do it this year so far. So I want to do that before the end of 2025. And then Ballarat Marathon, I reckon might be my next one because that looked good last year. And I think that's a good time away. So I kind of have a rest, do something different, and then build for a marathon at the end of summer. I think that sounds like a good plan to me.
I love training over summer. Like I love
So
training
much
for a
easier.
marathon over summer too. Yeah, it is so much fun. Like wake up and the sun's out at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like you just rock up in a pair of shorts. Maybe Leanne might wear a crop top.
Maybe, yes.
But if you know what I'm talking about. Just no dirty laundry, no layers, no gloves and beanies. It's like
a lot of sunscreen. Oh, you don't bother with that?
What, 5 a.m. in the morning?
Not
you're putting
5 a.m. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
What? Before we get to the star of the show, what are your plans, Moose?
Oh, so I went through a whole range of plans in my head on Sunday morning throughout that race,
including you were going to do a session as well, and then 500 meters in, you decide to race the race. I'm like, that's amazing.
So retire quickly was one of them. I've come over that, got through that pretty quick. Then it was never show up to a race in this level of condition again, because that's embarrassing. And I was genuinely embarrassed out there. I wanted to hide every time I ran through one of those corners where there was a heap of people. I literally just wanted to dig a hole and fucking bury myself. That's the feeling that I had when there was. I just wanted to go to the outer edges of the course and just get through the race out there. But then you come through. So at that point, I said, never again will you show up like this. You will be fit next time you're on the start line and you're not going to embarrass yourself like this again. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm like, you're going to put in a big body of work and you're not going to make dumb decisions in training and you're not going to make rash calls on which races to do. You're going to respect a training block and that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't think that my New Year's resolution to race more is actually good. That was it. I wanted to be on more start lines this year, and I don't think I enjoy it that much. So
but I think fitness is kind of tied to that. No one plans to be injured. So I think that when you're making that kind of New Year's resolution, it's if I'm fit, I want to race more. But then if you're injured, that's out the window immediately.
Yeah.
That shouldn't even be a factor. Unless you're setting a benchmark, so a park run or whatever, you've been injured, you come back, you run 17 minutes, you're like, right, that's my benchmark. And then you just go from there. But and being kind of unfit and then being on the start line of a major marathon, that's a different story. But fair play again, Moose, fair play to you for respecting it and having a crack and not wasting the bib. Because that would have gone to waste if you hadn't done it. So I don't disrespect that at all. But yes, I totally know what you mean though.
I am embarrassed, but I'm also proud of having a crack and trying my hardest to get to the finish line as fast as I could.
Yeah.
There's like I'm really comfortable with my decision of what I did that day.
It wasn't that bad.
it
Wasn't
wasn't that bad. It was 7.
that
Nah.
like we're not talking. Yeah, I don't think it was that bad.
This is
It
my
was
new.
better than I thought
This
you were
is
gonna
my
do,
new
to be
normal
honest.
now. This is
No,
my
come on.
this is my new okay. Like
Yeah, but
2:35.
This is your
Not bad.
the new benchmark. That's easy to beat. So.
Well, I ran 2:33 at Melbourne, and I had like literally the worst day of running of my life, and I've run slower than that on Sunday. So I think and I feel like the run went better on Sunday. So yeah, we work in new standards now.
Well, I was 10 minutes off my PB, so yeah, we do, Moose.
You've still got a little bit more there, unfortunately.
Hopefully I can get close to 220 again at some point.
Do you reckon you will? On it deep down, do you reckon?
Deep down, I get closer than 224. But if I was going to something like Valencia, I would give myself. Hang on, what did you give your boy? 3%, 30% chance, I reckon. Like, if it was the perfect race, then I reckon maybe 20. Actually, genuinely 20% chance if I was in the perfect race. Like, I'm crap at hills, so I'm actually pretty chuffed with what I did in Sydney. But anyway, enough about us. Leanne, what's next?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had plans or rough plans, and then I do this race and I get so many messages about Valencia. But I think we're pretty confident that we're not worrying about Valencia this year. It wasn't really on. I wasn't going to do it. I know I'm aware like other Aussie women are going to it. That's not the reason why I don't want to, but it'd also mean pretty much in about a month's time, I'd have to be ready to go again for another block. And I just don't know if mentally I'm there for that. So something like, I'm locked in for Burnie 10. So I'm hoping recover from this. I actually felt like I got really fit after Nagoya. I just had a calf problem that, well, it wasn't just the calf problem, but I felt like I was really fit. Once all the, fatigue and the soreness went away, I felt like you almost get super compensation from the actual marathon if you recover from it. And then training just, So if sort of all goes well, go and do some 10Ks like Burnie 10 and World Cross Country Trials is sort of on my radar for World Cross in January. So that's sort of the next, few months. And obviously things like, if Zatopek or, maybe Melbourne, but it seems like it's a bit close. There are a few things that are a maybe. We just got to see how we go. And then next year, there'll definitely be some sort of marathon next year, early next year. Don't know what yet, but yeah.
The best thing that's happened, I think, and maybe I could be wrong here for you. I'm talking maybe outside my place, but the fact is that you've got a result on the board that you don't have to go chasing more.
Yes. Yeah.
And you don't have to rush anything because you've made this breakthrough. Maybe you've got some financial sort of security for a certain amount of time where you don't have to go try to pick up paychecks here and there, and you can take your time because the next swing there'll be some expectation on what you do next time out, especially if it's that hillier course. That's just how the public works.
It does. Yeah. And I'm aware that, like, Aaron keeps saying to me, he's like, "Oh, you're 2 from 2." I'm like, okay, well, it is only 2, but it's not a very, not a very
marathon.
broad.
There's plenty to go wrong.
Exactly. And I said, like, and I'm fully aware that, like, yes, I did get 2 that went pretty well, but like there's going to be one very soon probably that doesn't go well. But also that's what the public does do that. And that, not saying put pressure on you, but the expectation is there because you've done it before, or your progression looks like it's going that way, or Yeah, so just gotta take it. And
we already heard like the dipshits on the main show talking about Australian records for you, all this sort of stuff now. So they're like
I haven't listened yet.
they always do it. Oh, this worth 222. Oh, your Australian record next time out. This kind of stuff. I'm like, geez, they don't give you a chance, do they? They're like, they're the ones I'm talking about, putting the pressure on. Already, you've had one day of recovery, and they're telling you your next race is an Australian record, and it's a disappointment if it's not.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine, but it is great to have that many, and then I have to flip it and say, well, how cool is it? This many people are invested. Like that's pretty cool. So,
well, you are a bit of a people's champ, I reckon. I reckon there's something in that. This show's been great for, I think, exposing your like you to the running public.
People can hear my training.
Yeah, it's just the running media. We were discussing this. Like, there's no real running media. That's a problem. Like, there's not a lot of interviews with athletes out there. There's no running magazines anymore where you can pick up and read an article on someone. There's sort of podcasts and maybe like press conferences, but press conferences are always so bullshit. Like,
they're so scripted.
Yeah. It is podcasts are now the running media. Like, that's where we tell stories.
I think the thing that's hit most people was when you got flu, influenza B, and you ran 180k week. That's what the people who have Patreon, my friends, that's the first thing they'll say. Like, what a life now. What a tough woman.
My identity.
And that's why we're not surprised you ran 224 over those hills. Like, because
you're the
of
flu
that
girl
kind of mentality. Crazy.
Well, crew, I've had a great time. It's been a nice little holiday away from the other two nerds. I've liked sharing the training stories, getting to know you, Leanne, and Nick. I reckon you might have sort of dialed down your dickheadness a bit since we.
I was going to say, Moose, you're not as big as prick as I remember. So I think, I think you've either changed or I've changed, or we've just we kind of just misunderstood each other slightly, maybe.
No, you were a fair dickhead back in the
day. Yeah, fair.
We had kids. It settled us down a bit.
Yeah, you're both dads now.
Yeah, it's hard to get like that. It's hard to get caught up in conflict when you're a dad. My desire to sort of to fight people, not physically, but like to chase things up, has just disappeared these days.
Yeah, he says this, Leanne, but before the race, he was going to me, do you know what? Like, when we was on the start line, he reckon, I'm the hardest person here, I reckon. And then Kieran Perkins walks past, he went, maybe I'm second.
No, I said it's a great feeling knowing when you're standing around a bunch of people, knowing you could just beat the shit out of all of them. And I was talking about the 40-kilo Africans on the start line, and I'm like, they must think I'm a UFC fighter out here.
I love it. But go back to when, I came home on Sunday night. Matilda was still up. She just looked at me with the biggest smile. I was just like, yeah, it's just so rewarding. Like, I just love it. So it definitely helps put stuff into perspective. So I reckon probably I'm less of a dickhead than I was, but I think you are too, Moose. So look forward to carrying on doing this.
Keep this will be going out to the public, and so everyone will hear this. So congrats to yourself, Leanne, to your coach, Des, everyone else involved. It's been a great finale. Probably the most successful road to result in the show's history.
It has to be.
Yeah, and 2 out of 3 successful marathons. That ain't bad either. So we've gone all right here.
And you still finished, Moose. Like, it was.
Yeah. What was I in the 35 to 40-year-old age group? Have you got that result for me?
I was third over 40 while you brought it up, so just behind Eliud Kipchoge. So,
mate, that dude's in the 50+ category.
I got a selfie with him, and he makes me look bloody young. Honestly, I was like, we're meant to be the same age. 50. He's got a lot of wrinkles going on there, but lovely chap though. Lovely chap.
All right. Well, it's been fun.
It's been
See you all
good.
next time.
Yeah.
See you next
Thanks.
time.
Bye.
Right.
Thanks to ASICS for sponsoring this weekend show. Shop the ASICS Tokyo collection, experience premium running comfort and performance with their newest models, the Mega Blast and Sonic Blast. Visit asics.com.au or visit your running specialty store today.
And I'm gonna hold my head up high. I was told as a young man, doesn't matter if you're white or black. Just show love to everyone you meet. Doesn't matter if it don't come back. Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking. The